The Outsiders.
Welcome to Texas.
So happy to be here.
So last night at your concert, you told some amazing stories, and I'd like to start off with a story of how you got into acting, because the stories about your dad were pretty amazing.
Well, my daddy, I was raised in the business because my daddy is a stuntman, and before that, he was a professional bull rider, and that wasn't a very unusual thing. A lot of cowboys were stuntmen back in the day because, let's face it, all the westerns that were being made, and they needed those tough son of a guns to do that kind of stuff. So he transitioned into doing stunts, and I grew up basically on movie sets, going to work with him. And one day, a director spoke to my daddy and said something like, "Hey, can he play the part of the little kid next Thursday?" And my dad said, "Well, ask him." And I signed on, and the rest is history.
What was that movie?
It was a show called Little People that a gentleman, an actor named Brian Keith, who was famous for a thing called Family Affair.
Okay, yeah.
Way back in the day. And he played a pediatrician, and I was a patient.
Broke in the natural way. Dad got you into it.
It's his fault.
Yeah, so, we're all Outsiders fans, and I'd like to hear a little bit about how you got the Outsiders gig and that process you had to go through, because it is quite a cast of interesting people.
Well, I had done E.T. already, and there was some interest from casting. They scour every nook and cranny when they're looking for kids. So there was some attention from that. But I had to climb up a very long ladder. Jane Jenkins and Janet Hershenson, they were the casting directors on that, and I went and met them, and it just felt right. And from moment one, it kind of just felt right,
Yeah.
and sometimes that'll happen. And I think Francis knew I was the guy immediately, even though it took weeks before they officially gave me the job. But, a lot of the other actors were auditioning for different roles, and there was a lot of change up amongst the group. Sometimes they'd be a Soch, sometimes they'd be Dally, sometimes they'd be Dairy, Soda Pop. But I was always Pony, and there wasn't anybody else reading Pony. It was just me, So at a certain point, it was pretty evident. And I'd go to San Francisco. I'd go to New York. We auditioned for weeks to find the core group of people before we actually settled on who we settled on. And that final trip to New York, actually, I think we may have picked up Ralph, who was from New York in L.A., but when we went to New York, we grabbed Matt, who just blew my mind. At that time, I hadn't experienced New York. I was from the West Coast and, grew up on a ranch. And I met Matt Dillon, and he was just this larger-than-life character, this thick accent. Every girl in New York would stare at him as he'd walk down the street. He just had this magic quality to him, And I'll never forget the time he said, "Hey, you want to get a pie after this?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I love pie, man. I come from like apple pie, boysenberry pie. Let's get some pie." And all of a sudden, I was sitting there at a pizza joint. I was like, "What the hell is this?" He's like, "We're having some pie." So I learned that he meant a pizza pie, and I didn't even know that. And he just had this. He was like Dally for real. Matt embodied Dallas Winston for real. So that was for me a real treat. And I think Pony Boy looked up to Dallas, and I looked up to Matt. So there was an authenticity to that relationship that translated into the film that I think was really important.
So what was it like? Because you said you had the round robin auditions for most of the parts, but when that cast was set and you guys got together, what was the dynamic in the crew? Well, not the crew, but you guys.
Oh my God, it was us against the world. You
Really?
know, we were all so excited. I mean, it was a Francis Ford Coppola film. He's an iconic filmmaker. And, you know, it was The Outsiders. Even though the novel didn't have the history behind it that it has now, there was something very special about it. And we knew that. You know, even when we went to go shoot the film, something magical happened. I mean, it was crazy that there was a Beatle sort of mania to the whole experience. I mean, girls were sleeping in the hotel lobby and just following us around. And it was like we were in a band, you know, like, I don't know, I felt like Harry Styles or something. But I've never experienced anything like that before or since. And what created that during filming, we were all basically unknown guys, but there was just a sense, it was special.
So, have you stayed in touch? Are you still friends with any of the cast?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, to a certain degree, haven't seen Cruz for a minute, but I saw Emilio recently, and I talk to Ralph all the time. I love Ralph. We're still really good friends, and you know, Rob will be my brother to the end. And Matt lives in Italy most of the time, but I'm actually really good friends with Matt's brother, Kevin, and their daddy just passed away, and I stay close touch with them, and I speak occasionally to Patrick's wife, Lisa, former wife, and you know, coming from where we come from, whenever we cross paths, we've always got that. You know what I mean? Greasers for life.
So let's talk a little bit about Red Dawn. You know, you're one of the guys I grew up watching. You know, we all did.
Wolverines.
Yeah. But tell us, are there any little secret stories you can tell about the Red Dawn shooting that, or just the dynamics because you did have some reunions from the Outsiders?
Yeah, we you know what? We had so much fun. First of all, that was back before there were cell phones and devices and all the dumb shit that keeps us from doing the really cool stuff in life. And so we would do things like, you know, get dirty, which my kids haven't been dirty in probably 6 years because they just poke buttons all day. But I'll tell you a story. One time, as you do dumb things as a kid, Charlie Sheen, before he really decided to be an actor, he was going to play baseball for real. You know, he did that baseball movie Major League because he was really like that guy. He had an arm on him. This guy had an arm on him like nobody. And he used to like to throw the Nerf football back and forth. And it became we became obsessed with going into the hallway of the hotel because it was freezing cold. It was in the middle of winter. We would just burn this Nerf football back and forth to each other, just trying to murder each other. And I'll never forget one time, he shattered the fire alarm, and we emptied this hotel out in the middle of winter, a volunteer fire department, and about 150 people outside, dinners getting cold, and the restaurant. I mean, they were pissed. So it was a big deal. The next day we get called in to the producers, Buzz Feischens and John Milius, and Milius is loving it because he did Conan and he was the director, and he's kind of a big kid anyway, you know, but he's proud. And we walk in, and it's not going to be a good thing, and so they want to know what happened, and it went down exactly like this. They go to Charlie. Buzz Feischens says, "Charlie, we'd like to know from your perspective what happened." He says, "Well, Buzz, it was like this. You tell him, Darren." Darren Dalton, who was in The Outsiders with me, he was in Red Dawn. He was the bug eater. I shot his dirty ass. He says, "Well, Buzz, it went down like this. You tell him, Tommy." And it get to me, and I said, "Well, sir, I don't want to waste anybody's time, and I'm just going to be dead honest with y'all. It was all Brad's fault. He just thought it'd be great if he pulled the fire alarm and we cleared it all out, and I'm sorry, that's what happened. So I blamed it all on Brad Savage." Milius knew Brad didn't have anything to do with it. he just sat back and he said, "Have a good day, boys." And out we went. And it's kind of a funny thing because we didn't really get in trouble for it, but we had to mind our P's and Q's after that. And nobody did it intentionally, but nobody really owned up to it either.
It's like getting called to the principal's office. They gave you the lecture and sent you on your way.
Well, I mean, could you imagine being 16 and being handed an AK-47 and a 9mm and 38s and all of like our biggest thing was I could break down and rebuild my AK-47 in like 2 minutes.
Really?
And that was the thing. So it was just there was no political problems. It was like it was okay to like America.
Yeah.
It was like there's times now where some crazy makes me nuts. It's like you're the bad guy now if you like the flag. What the hell's wrong with these people? So for me, it was the last of the good times. It was innocent. There was still an innocence that for me personally, the internet has wiped away from our kids today because everything is in their pocket now.
That's right.
We used to be excited about discovering an answer. A conversation used to be important. Now the kids don't even talk now because they got their phones and every answer they have is on the phone. So there is no more conversing. So it was a different time and a different world. And we still carry that. The guys, like I spoke to Charlie just the other day and, he's gone through his ups and downs in life, but he's learned his lessons, and that's what disturbs me so much about what we're creating today is the reason, the whole reason for being here on this planet is to grow as a human. And how do you grow? You make mistakes and you feel remorse and you implement a change and you become a better person and you teach others about those mistakes. Hopefully they won't make them. But he gets fucking canceled. What is that? I don't get it. I think these people have really missed the mark because the whole point is to make a mistake and rise from the ashes like the phoenix burning and become a better person from it. That's why we're here. Now these kids can't even make a mistake. They can't even go out and live their life because they're so afraid to fail. They're so afraid to make that mistake. They can't even do it. You just see all the DMs and the messages I get all day about the unhappiness of our children. It's endless. We didn't have that in my generation.
So as someone who basically has been an actor all your life, how did you stay so grounded? Because you were a pretty chill dude.
Really?
You're a very chill dude. I mean, look, you're nice to everybody. You're great to your fans.
Not to everybody. No, thank
Only
you.
if they deserve it,
Thank
right?
you, thank you. Well, you know what? Here's the deal. And this is the real truth. Right? I think we live in a planet and in a place now where people are afraid to be judged. They're afraid to be themselves. Look at who are on our magazines. We're surrounded by duck lips and fake hair and, like I get people all the time. And people are, if you ever follow me on my Instagram, I don't run from shit. Like people say things, oh my God, you're Pony Boy. You look older than hell. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, hey man, hey, I don't erase it. I don't scare it. I said, I'm going to break it all down to you right now. Rob Lowe's ass looks just like me. He's every bit as gray as I am. I don't dye my shit. I don't go Botox. I'm a cowboy. It is how it is. It's real. And if y'all got a problem with it, lump it. I can't help you. It's just for me, I want to make people feel like it's okay to look natural.
Yeah.
It's okay to age gracefully. My gray hair and my wrinkles, I love them, man. Why I got to cover that up? Why I got to pretend to be? Man, I look at people like Stallone and Schwarzenegger now, and my heart breaks because I see this fake quality that makes me feel a disconnect from who they are. I can't watch that guy run through the jungle and shoot bad guys filled with Botox in his face. What the hell, right? I mean, is that just me or what? Can we be real about this? So that's what I try to do when I just want to support people and love them and try to be that voice that allows us to feel comfortable with who we are and how we want to be.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing because there's a lot of pressure for kids, and particularly with there's a lot of confusion now, and I support everything. You want to change your pronouns and you want to do all that, God bless, but it's confusing for a lot of people, and it's hard on a young person trying to find themselves at age 14 who all of a sudden is confused about their own pronoun. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
We had pretty clear direction. And, as much as I support all that stuff, I think we have a responsibility as adults to point out when it's okay to do that. For example, there's famous people in Hollywood that are bringing their children to school. And God bless this young boy if he wants to wear a dress to school. But now you want to come to school and you want to ridicule the 80 kids that are teasing the kid wearing the dress, and you want to change everybody involved. Okay, wait a minute. First of all, Kevin, put your damn jeans on, boy. We're at school. You can do what you want at home. But don't impose your own belief system upon everybody else and force everybody to live your way because that's how you think. I can't get behind that. If you want to be that way, be that way. I support that. It's America, and God bless America for letting us be that way. But I just have my own feelings about the values that are being kicked to the curb anymore. If you're somebody that appreciates America today, you're a bad guy. Where I come from, we don't kneel when they bring out the flag. We just don't. We can discuss all the problems. We can discuss, hey man, we're all for humanity. We're all for treating people properly. And listen, that change needs to happen. We're all for that. But we're also for family, values, making the right decision, trying to make a place better for people. And I don't see that in a lot of for me. And listen, you can't, and this is the unfortunate part, the reason why you don't see it is because people won't work. I mean, there used to be a time when you could have an opinion about yourself or about politics or about the way things are being handled, and people wouldn't blackball you from work or alienate you or call you out on Twitter or whatever that is. My singing career now gives me the platform to not give a shit. So I don't have to conform to Hollywood and their ways. I can work with Hollywood and I can do the projects that I want to do, but I don't have to play the game anymore. I get to be me. And that's what I love about the platform I'm on now, because I've spent a lifetime hiding behind roles and cameras and lenses. But now I get to reach out to the people and share a piece of me. And that's all brand new for me. So I feel a certain responsibility to be able to speak my own truth. And nobody has to agree with me. But if they don't agree with me, they might walk away with, wow, that guy was authentic. And if that's the only thing they take away, then what a beautiful thing.
Authentic is a rarity these days.
Can't find it.
And, one of the things last night when I watched your concert and heard you tell the stories, I was like, dude, this guy's the real deal. I feel like you're an honorary Texan already, man.
Well, you know what's awesome, right? I mean, I said that last night.
Y'all agree? Is he now an honorary Texan?
I mean, I was raised a cowboy by a cowboy.
He is a cowboy. You're more of a cowboy than most of the people I know that live here.
Well, that's the thing. And I love being associated with these people. And that's who I am. and it's home, and that's why we're here. You know.
Well, I'd like to go back a little bit because you did 2 movies with Patrick Swayze. So I'd just like to hear, or did you
did
do?
3.
What was the
I
third
did
one?
3. What did you saw the show, right? So we did.
I had to leave early. I had a meeting.
Okay, so
Sorry,
we did
dude.
The Outsiders and Red Dawn.
That's what I was thinking.
And we
of.
did this thing called Grandview USA with
yes.
Jamie Lee Curtis. You guys might have not seen that. Look at him scratching his head. Oh, Jesus. Before we go any further, I just want to introduce Kurt and Taylor. I'm sorry this took so damn long. We went down a rabbit hole over here.
We did.
Kurt Thomas is my guitarist. He co-writes songs with me, and Taylor's our drummer. And Kurt's taught me so much over the years, which has been in about a few weeks because we've literally crammed years into a couple of weeks. But I couldn't be here without them, and I think I don't know how much time we have, but we'll
You're
get
good
to.
on time.
Okay, I think we will do a song or two if y'all want to hear one.
Yes, definitely.
But I'll answer a few more questions, and then you might want to ask Kurt a question because you might get some insight out of Kurt
Behind the scenes
in a little bit.
with Tommy Howell and what was the band name y'all came up with last night?
Well, the Wandering Minstrels.
The Wandering Minstrels.
Somebody came up with that. Somebody said, "Well, where'd you get these?" Well, I said, "Oh, they're just a bunch of wandering minstrels." And someone said, "That's a good band name." So we might be Tommy Howell and the Wandering Minstrels.
So I'll fast forward because I want to talk a little bit about Criminal Minds.
Okay.
Because we know you as Pony Boy and this all-American kid, and then you come into Criminal Minds as one of the most deviant bad guys. I mean, I that's what I saw. I mean, how is that? I know you're an actor, not hard to do, but for your fan base, what was your reaction that you got when you came into that Criminal Minds
There was a big
character?
lesson for me involved there because I hadn't played bad guys, really. And I did a film with Rutger Hauer, I think it was in '86, called The Hitcher.
Oh yeah.
Which was very impactful and left a profound mark on me. That was one of the first projects that I had done where I was surrounded by award-winning actors.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer Jason Leigh's been nominated for multiple Academy Awards. Jeffrey DeMunn has won Tonys. Rutger Hauer had won many, many, many awards and was basically deemed as, if not the greatest, as one of the best villains ever. And he was in Blade Runner, and he was in, Nighthawk, and just so many great, deep, dark, but not, the thing that Rutger taught me, this was a great moment. He petrified a lot of people on the set of The Hitcher. And not a lot of people, he didn't really wrap his arms around too many people, but he did me. And one day, he invited me he drove this bus around everywhere, and he invited me in to have a lunch. And he used to, chain smoke filterless Camels. And he said, "Come on in and eat." And he had this real thick Dutch accent, and he didn't talk too much, and he had these giant, just penetrating blue eyes. And I was sitting there, and I was eating my food and looking at him, and it felt like an eternity went by, and nobody was saying anything, and he was just smoking and kind of picking through some potato salad. And finally, just out of fear, I mustered up some small talk, and I was like, "Rutger, 17. Everybody says you're the best bad guy. What are your secrets?" And he just kind of continues to smoke. And he looks at me, and he's picking tobacco at his teeth, and he stares into my soul, and he says, "I don't play bad guys." I just slowly backed out of the bus. And that rattled around in my head for years. And I didn't understand what he meant. And it took me a long time. And then I finally got the role of the Reaper. And it was my turn to play a bad guy. And I really spent some time submerged in that moment with Rutger and the film that we had done. And it really struck me on a deep level what he was talking about. And it gave me the opportunity to approach that character from a very different place. I was able to find the humanity in that character and not play a bad guy. I played a good guy that did bad things. And that psychologically is what affected a lot of people. And a lot of people come to me and go, oh, dude, Criminal Minds, you're a psycho. You're crazy. I said, you better watch it again because he's pretty grounded and he's
That's interesting.
pretty centered. He's pretty not psycho, which is what makes him psycho. And that was a secret that was shared with me through Rutger with one very simple answer that I was able to work on for a long time that paid off for me in a big way.
That is a great story.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to have to rewatch it through new eyes.
Please.
We all should go rewatch it and then comment on his Instagram about it.
Please.
What we learned about the good guy. But so I know we want to get to the music, but I would be horrible if I didn't at least talk about The Walking Dead just a little bit.
Sure.
Do we have any Walking Dead fans in the house? All right. So The Walking Dead's been on for a very long time.
Yeah.
And, what is it like to come in that late in the series as an actor when the fan base is so developed and you have to make your mark on the series?
Well, this is coming from a very humble place. I'm just going to be honest with you, so I have to address this. This is not an ego answer. This is just factual. My history in the business changes the game a little bit, meaning if I didn't have the experience that I have, and I see a lot of unknown guest stars go into that situation, and it's extremely isolating, and it can be lonely, and they're not eating lunch with, Norm and, the crew, and they're off on their own, and it can be tough that way. But, like I get there, and Norm comes up and says, bro, oh my God, 7 years ago, I screened The Outsiders for my girl's birthday. You blah, blah, blah. So I'm in, you know what I mean? I'm like, I have a different experience when I show up. So it's not, I'm so blessed because I've been around for so long. And, my daddy raised me to be the first one to work and the last one to leave. And my goal all day is to make everybody else better. I'm not there to complain. I'm not there to be telling everybody that I'm a famous guy. I'm there to do the fucking work and make it as good as I can. Always. That for me has created a work ratio. I'd say probably 60% of my hires are rehires. Like if I come to work for you, you're gonna hire me again. And that's my goal. It's a small world. And I'm not there to cause problems. I'm there to solve problems in my life, at work, on stage here, wherever we go. That's my goal. Solve the problem, man. Let's have it run smooth and have a good time and love the people. It don't cost me money to be nice. It doesn't take longer to be nice. The whole thing on Insta where my kids are like, I thank you for responding. Nobody else responds. How hard is it to send a little emoji so somebody can have a moment and be like, God dang, it's nice to be seen. Our kids need to be heard. Our kids need to be seen. They need to know that somebody cares. Everybody doesn't have time. Everybody's too busy. We get that. When is somebody not too busy? When?
Very good advice.
Now. It don't take longer, man. And it matters. It matters because then I come here and I speak to people like this, and they love me back. I love them. And they go out and tell somebody, and it keeps going. And they feel better when they leave. And I feel better when I leave. Everybody feels better. It's so simple. Why do we make it so hard? It's so simple. And it makes everyone feel better. There you go. That's why.
I saw that on stage last night. Everybody in the crowd had a fun time. They were important. You made them feel important, and then you spent a lot of time.
My goal is not to go there and remind people that I am better than them. My goal is to say, I am you. You are me. I come from you. I'm you. My job is the same as yours. I'm just, you see my shit on TV. That's all. I'm not better than. The only thing better is that I am so appreciative for being able to travel and meet the people. And I did movies with Elizabeth Taylor and Anne Margaret. Franco Zeffirelli in Italy. Man, I've done movies in Australia, New Zealand, South America, Paris, all over Europe. I'm so grateful for that. I'm a cowboy. I was born under a rock, man. We had no money. My daddy was a bull rider. We ate steak when he won, and we ate hot dogs when he didn't. That was how it go. That was how it go. There's something about being raised that way that has allowed me to keep my feet on my. And I don't want to be better than. I have a small house. I drive a truck, man. I give what I can away. You can't take it with you, man. You know what I mean? So let's just try to make it a better place for everybody. That's all.
So this will lead me to my last question, because you kind of sparked this, because you've had an insanely successful career. But I'd like to hear a story about a moment where you completely geeked out meeting someone or working with someone. Do you have a story you can share about
Man,
that?
I have so many, but I'll tell you what. And this is when I knew I had made the right move for me, because I've recently moved to Nashville, and I'm all in on the music. You know, I'll mess around with my acting stuff a little bit, but it's changed significantly. And I've spent a lifetime in Hollywood. I mean, like I said, Elizabeth Taylor brought me coffee many times, and Margaret, you know, the greatest. I mean, these people, I worked with old Hollywood. I did a series with Roddy McDowall. I've worked with great, great actors, and I respect them and love them. You know, played Jeff Daniels' brother on Gettysburg and Gods and Generals, and we have a great relationship, and I love the guy. But I never really have geeked out like I do when someone like Jason Isbell, you know, tags me on Instagram, or I see Chris Stapleton at the market, or, you know, those opportunities, meeting Steve Earle up here at Austin City Limits the other night. Like, you know, that dude wrote Copperhead Road, man. I'm like, oh, geeking out of my mind. So, you know, when I meet world champion cowboys like Wesley Thorpe, or, you know, Sage Kimzey, like bull riders and stuff, like, I geek out. I lose it. You know, I look at the Kardashians and there ain't no geeking. I'm sorry. That's just how I go. It doesn't affect me that way. So I have my own things that I freak out over.
So who's on your bucket list in music to meet?
Oh my God, Charlie Starr, who I love so much from Blackberry Smoke. But I'll tell you something. Yeah. I'm working with a group of guys right now in Nashville that are some of the best riders in Nashville. Dave Kennedy, Channing Wilson, Rob Snyder, Adam Hood, who I want to be riding with. There's a core group of these guys write hits for all the big bands, the Luke Combs, the Whiskey Myers, all the big bands. They have embraced me, and I am geeking out, man. I love these guys. I'm so grateful for these guys. That they teach me so much, and I'm able to you know, I've got a little knack for writing songs, so I can bring a good story to the table. But they're teaching me how to. They're teaching me about structure, and they're teaching me the nuances and the details to songwriting. You know, there's no songwriting school, brother. You can't go to songwriting school. It don't exist. So you got to figure it out on your own. And that's why it's so special to me. It's to tell a story in 2 to 3 minutes with a 6-string across your lap that makes people cry and laugh. What's better? So I'm in on that. And that's my life right now.
I think that's the perfect segue to some music.
We're going to play a little music for you. We'll play a song or two and let y'all go. God bless. Thank you so much. Do you think it'd be better if I use the mic? Okay. You mind shutting that door for us, son? So this song just kind of goes into what we were, kind of what I was talking about. This is a song that really started to. It's a song called "Damn Good Man," And just to be clear about the title, it's not Damn Good Man, it's Damned with an ED on the end, which changes the story to this piece completely. Basically, the idea of it is, I come from cowboys, and cowboys and hillbillies and rednecks and all of us get kind of a bad rap anyway, They're the best people I know. These are the guys that can basically weld together a submarine. These are the hardworking blue-collar guys that we all love and know. And the best people I know are rednecks. But there's a certain group of people that no matter what, we ain't going to be good enough for them. You know what I mean? So we come up with this song right here called Damned Good Man, and it goes like this. Pappy was a Lego wholesale baker. Granny ran the numbers and they were free. Daddy was a liar. Mama led the choir. Should have never been together, but they were three. Gone from a long line of sinners, breeding losers, not winners. Some you wouldn't understand around here. I'm a damn good man. Born a hellraiser, broken law praiser, straight whiskey, no chaser, S.O.B. Called an outsider, a midnight rider, mean street fighter, can't disagree. Come from a long line of sinners, breeding losers, not winners. Some you wouldn't understand around here. I'm a damn good man around here. I'm a damn good man. All an outsider, midnight rider, mean street fighter, can't disagree. That's a damn good man. Wrote that with Kurt. Came over to my house and we thought we was gonna write something completely different, and we come up with that song right there. We're gonna do one more for you. I don't suppose anybody wants to hear Pony Girl in here. Oh, we don't have to. We'll leave. All right, we're going to do Pony Girl for you. I wrote this with Kurt, too, and I sent him the basis of it, and he was like, oh, my God, be prepared to sing this for the rest of your damn life. Pony girl, won't you be my pony girl? Giddy up, whoa, my pony girl. Ride with me, sunsets and poetry. Together we'll make history, my pony girl. Pony girl, now don't be shy. Just throw a little inside. Spot in the shade tree. Sit right here, right next to me. Pony girl, won't you be my pony girl? You'll be the center of can't take no more. Pony girl, won't you be my pony girl? Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, whoa, my pony girl. Ride with me, sunsets and poetry. Together we'll make history. Come ride with me. Pony girl, won't you be my pony girl? Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, whoa, my pony girl. Pony girl, won't you be my pony girl? Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, whoa, my pony girl. Not so fast. That's Pony Girl. Hey, thank y'all so much. Kurt Thomas, Taylor Conley. We sure had a good time with you. Spread the word. Be kind to your neighbor. Love yourselves. See you later.
Let's hear it for Tommy Howell, everybody.